Is it recording? Let me see if I can see that too.
Yeah, okay, there it goes. It's
Okay,
recording.
yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and mute myself just because I'm going to be answering the phone so Janine can lead the meeting.
Okay, sounds good. All right, welcome crew to the Monday, May 18th Festival of Chimes and Lights Committee meeting. We're going to get started with talking about the 2020 Festival of Chimes and Lights. So what a year.
What a year, oh boy.
Something else. You know, I was wondering if we would even have a Festival of Chimes and Lights, but as we've discussed it, we will have something no matter what's going on. And actually what I project, or I'm hearing being projected, is that there's going to be another round of this virus, probably around the time after the kids have come back to school, they're thinking. So you know, who knows what it's going to look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I do know that for the time being, we're just moving forward, and we'll adapt as we can. And most of it will be lights. We'll find some chimes too, but the lights will make a difference. And we'll do as much as we can with that. Sharon, Janine, do you have an idea at all for a theme? Have you thought of anything? I've got a couple of ideas, but Sharon, sometimes you do.
I hadn't thought that direction yet, but now that you're challenging me, I certainly will begin thinking about it.
I haven't honestly thought.
I woke up with the fall follies in my brain and I passed that out to the board, and the board members all said, hey, I like that. Let's go for it. Instead of summer festival, we're now the fall follies.
That works.
Yeah.
I hope that works well, actually.
You
know what? Yeah, I was thinking, have you heard of Mannheim Steamroller?
Yes.
Okay, so they do have an album called A Fresh Air Christmas, and the air is A-I-R-E.
Right.
And I thought one thing we could be saying is we're going to have a fresh air Christmas, because that's the only kind you can have right now. So
and we can use that as kind of the underlying music to go with it.
Yes, so and air being, their air is A-I-R-E, which refers to airs, H-E-I-R. But this one is the fresh air because that's what we all need right now. So you mean just, that is just one idea. I mean, I didn't want to have anything using COVID.
Okay.
I wanted something upbeat. It's just out there. So as you think about it, and we've got some time yet, almost everything about this year will be different. Brandy, Janine, have you heard anything about any kind of run? Is there going to be a social distance run? I wouldn't think it could be timed.
I would have to defer to Brandy or Michelle on that one. I'm not involved too much with that part of it.
Okay. Yeah, you know.
Cindy, if we're in phase 4 and they allow us to do that kind of an event with no social distancing, there wouldn't be a problem with the run. We're concerned for Fathoms that if they require, we're going to be open in phase 4. However, if they require true social distancing, we'll have to cancel the entire event.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think you'd have a problem with the run in December.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, all we can do is wait and see.
Right. Well,
so this is Loretta from Peak Performance Timing.
Oh,
I called the city. Hi, I was a little late. The number in the agenda wasn't right for the meeting ID, but I figured it out based on the link. So,
thank you.
It was 5. Never mind. It was 50 instead of 20. But I called the city last week, and they are not doing special events right now. They're not processing anything, and they can't tell me whether we can have a run or not. So that's all I know.
Just like everything else.
Yep, just like everything else. We don't know anything.
Loretta, I'm just wondering, what would a run look like if you had to do some kind of social distancing?
Well, we're doing one, I think, in a couple weeks where they're going to start. We're going to put a mat down at the start. People can start whenever they, whenever their group wants to start. A small group of people can start, and we'll get that start time, and then they'll finish, and we'll have, no awards can be done until the end of the last participant comes in, because you have no idea who you're competing against in a race like that. You don't have the person next to you. You're not starting all at the same time. But I mean, an event could happen. It would just be a challenge keeping people distance from each other before they start the race. Once they're on the race, it's really not a problem.
Wow.
So it could happen.
Yeah.
It'd be weird, and we still haven't heard from the city that we can do a run. So, we're still open to it. That was the reason why I wanted to call in today.
Good.
We'd love to have it. We'd love for it to be a fundraiser for the food bank, but we just don't know. We've done no races whatsoever since this started,
Right.
and we're normally very busy. So.
Wow. Hi, Sandy. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So, well, that's good to know, Loretta. I don't
It's
know.
possible, yeah.
Loretta, how many people would you project in normal times would have run in this race? Do you have any idea at all how many?
Up to 1,000 would be what I'd estimate.
Okay.
They've seen even more than that in years past, but I don't know what we would be able to convert to a new race format.
Right.
Not the Jingle Bell Run. And the Arthritis Foundation, I'm sure, wants to keep their people and will be recruiting them to other races in the region if they can. But there's people that just come to Port Orchard to run that race that day. So
And Loretta,
I would say up to 1,000, but probably not that many.
Okay, and in the past, how many have actually been timed?
Less than half of those, probably.
Yeah.
For most people, it's a fun walk kind of thing. It's not a race. Yeah.
So,
but, for us, we would want everybody to have a chip on them so we would know if anybody was missing at the end.
Oh, okay. I see. So if you had to do sort of distancing,
they would have to have a chip on.
They'd have to have a chip, and you would potentially start a certain number of people at a time, or only
right.
one?
It's called a staggered start.
Yes.
So 10 people could start at a time, or 20 people if they could, if it was wide enough, or they could, stay 6 feet away from each other somewhere around the start line and didn't, care. And so a person that starts at, I'm just going to say, easy numbers, right? At 1 o'clock, another group could start at 1:05, and another group could start at 1:10. And then those 5-minute increments would be reconciled when we got their finish time. We'd subtract 0 minutes from somebody that started in the first group, and 5 from the second group, and 10 minutes from the finish times of the third group, if that makes sense.
It does. If we needed to do something like that, then probably we would need to start the race much earlier.
Yeah, it really extends the time. It makes an all-day event out of a 5K, basically. So, yeah, it would change the time of things, but it makes a race possible.
Yes.
But again, we don't know what the city wants to do, because this is one big social event. So if they want to have this, that's the big question mark.
Yeah, I just don't know that anyone will know this for a while yet.
Right. To effectively plan a race, we really need 3.5 months ahead of time, because we need to order T-shirts, we need to order medals, we need, the things that we need for the race, we have to have lead time to be able to get. So if we don't have a decision, I'm going to say by August,
Mm-hmm.
September at the latest, it'd be hard to do a decent race of that size, one that we would like to do.
Right. Well, we'll probably know a whole lot more just in 1 month. We'll
I
see,
hope so.
yeah, how the state is progressing in June and what the phases are looking like then. A staggered race is enticing, to be honest with you. If we could do something like that, it's like you're saying, it's a gathering that would have to be, we'd need so many volunteers, and it would have to be so carefully managed.
Yeah.
But, well, that's still on the table. That's what we know.
Yep.
It's still on the
Yep.
table. And, for all of us, it's, what do we advertise? Sharon, is Sharon still here?
I'm still here.
Okay. It's tricky, isn't it, Sharon?
It's extremely tricky. In fact, I was just going to ask the question to Brandy and you. Are you putting your council meetings that you do on Zoom? I assume you're doing Zoom, or are you distancing at the courthouse?
We are.
Zoom.
Yeah, we're doing Zoom.
Okay, is that available for the public to watch?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. If somebody would just email me when your next council meeting is, I'd just kind of like to tune into that, because I'd like to follow what's going on, because I have major events that we're moving and we're still wanting to make it happen if we can. And everything is, of course, hinging on the phase 4 and whether or not they're going to require social distancing. If they don't, then we're good to go. But if they do, then we're still looking at having to cancel the September event.
Well, every Tuesday, the second, third, and fourth Tuesdays of the month, Sharon, are the council meetings, and tomorrow night is a study session.
Okay.
So in another week and 1 day, we'll have another council meeting, a regular council meeting.
Okay.
And I don't think, Janine and Brandy, I'm deferring to you, but we are waiting just like everyone else to find out what's next. It's looking pretty good. It's looking like we're moving pretty well. But, as you can see in some states, they're having a reoccurrence already. And even on the ship, you're seeing that also people can be reinfected. We were kind of thinking that once somebody had COVID, that you'd be good to go for a while, but a lot of the military people now are starting to be infected the second time. Interesting little bug that we've got going around here.
Yeah.
But, well, we'll keep that in there. And it's good to know that it could be run in a staggered, I don't know what we're going to be under as far as rules. But so far so good with that. And that's one of another things that calling it a fresh air Christmas might really be it.
We're going to breathe fresh air with no virus in it.
Oh my word. Right.
And hopefully we'll have volunteers dying to get out of the house, right?
Yeah, oh, I would think. Yeah. You know what, you guys, I didn't think of this before, but if it's actually raining, you would think there would be less chance of transmission than ever.
Yeah.
Because, you can't spit very far in the rain. But all very interesting. So, well, we're moving forward. And, in addition to the run, if that is going to be there, is what else can we actually do? The thought of having the music, the choirs, probably is not going to be possible. Distancing a choir, I don't know how we'd capture the sound. and how safe that would be for the kids. Any thoughts on any of that?
Cindy, are you basing the distancing just simply on the fact of a resurgence that may come?
That's a good question, but yes, that's part of it.
Okay.
You know, I've actually thought of the possibility of choirs. See, I don't know if what's going to look like in the schools.
That's what I was going to say. When we'll know more when the schools start and what they're allowing, choirs and that type of thing.
Right.
I'm one that I like to look positive going down the road. And because it's in December, I would say let's plan like it's going to happen, because we can always cancel. If the plan is in motion, the wheels are moving, things are turning, people are getting in their groups that they need to be getting in, and let's just go forward and plan like it's really going to happen, because that word cancel can come up and we can cancel everything. Cancel portions of what can't fit.
Right. And if we have enough technology, Sharon, what I actually was thinking is, if we have to be very careful about distancing, that perhaps choirs could be captured, the music could be captured, and we could just be having it recorded and playing. You know, that's a possibility too. I think a lot of our focus will be on lights and music. And as far as events, you know, well, if the run is in it, it will take a lot longer time, it seems. But we won't have the tractors this year. And I don't think that this is a good year to start another plan, as far as we're thinking last year that maybe having something like golf carts, taking people around. You know, that takes a lot of planning and expense.
Right.
And I think that maybe we would just push that down the road a bit, maybe to next year. But light displays would be huge. Sandy, do you have anything that you're thinking of at all?
Well, I really like last year. Okay, last year, I tell people, because I think some of our Port Orchard events are the best kept secrets in the world. So every time someone asks me about it, or I would share willingly, it was just a great feeling last year. It was a great, I said all you needed was a little snow and a romance story, and it felt like a Hallmark Christmas to me. And because Port Orchard is known as a little town on the water, and I love that hometown feeling. And I think anything we can plan to bring that in, it makes it a success. And the unfortunate thing, I do think we have to plan like we're going to have it, unless we have to spend a lot of money and don't get it back or something like that.
Right.
Because we are now under other people's rules, and whatever happens. So, but I really liked it last year. I didn't hear anything negative. I don't know, Bobby, you're there, right? Is that Bobby there?
No, I don't.
Mute.
Oh, she's on mute. Anyway, now we didn't go down very far toward those businesses, and I did hear one business say, "I wish there had been a little more down that way," because, and I don't mean clear to the gazebo, but even down to where Bobby and some of those are. I don't know.
Bobby, you could hit your space bar on your computer, and I believe that will allow you to talk. You're still on mute. So try hitting your space bar to see if that mute will go away.
Also at the bottom left of your screen, there's a mute button you can hit. Do you see it?
Hey, Bobby.
Right.
If you're on your laptop, take your cursor and take it to the left of your screen, and it should hover right over the mute button.
There's an old-fashioned looking microphone.
Maybe
There you are.
No, you just muted it back again.
There you go.
There
Okay,
she is. Oh, yeah, so
Well,
Bobby.
you can tell for me, just to be here is a miracle, let me tell you.
Well, oh, it's wonderful to see you.
It's wonderful to see all of you. Really.
Oh my goodness, this is so cool. Bobby, have you?
Are we going to have the trees, so right?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We are definitely having the trees.
Okay.
Anybody can reserve a tree that they've had in the past right now.
I want to reserve my tree. Okay.
And
There
Janine will capture that. And starting June 1st, we will take payment for that, the trees.
Through the mail or something, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
We can, yeah, I got the, we can send the applications in early, Janine, right? And
Yes.
do those go to you? What are the,
Yeah, you can either send them directly to me, or you can just, if it's through email, you can just send them to me. If it's through mail, you can just do the City of Port Orchard address, and then it comes to the city clerk's office anyway, so we'll grab that application when it comes through.
City of Port Orchard and Care of You?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Bobby, yes, that's one thing we know we can have are the
Okay.
trees for
Because
sure.
people are asking me and I'm saying, yes, trees, of course.
We're going to have them. And that's, I mean, that's going to be like wonderful. And I think we have to have an opportunity for people to see more of the trees.
Mhm.
And I think that we're going to have to utilize the storefronts more this year. I really do. It was beautiful last year. So many people really put a lot of effort into those storefronts, and they were gorgeous. And I think we're really going to have to count on a lot of decorating down on Bay Street. I think the port will probably do something again, Kathy Garcia, and that was a beautiful display.
that was gorgeous.
Wasn't it amazing?
That was gorgeous. We loved being there with all that. And we'll,
That was great.
hopefully we're in the same spot again because we want to decorate just like we did. And
Good.
a little more.
Yeah. And so we need to work on what we close as far as the street. The traffic pattern last year needed some improvement.
That's what you had said.
Mhm. I almost think that we need to have the whole Bay Street closed, but we really need to work with the police on that one.
Well,
Because
Dale's on the line. Hit him up. Dale, can we have all of Bay Street? He's got his button muted.
he's got his button muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the traffic flow and everything may be a little different this year, depending
Mm-hmm.
of ifs, if this, if that, if we're open, if everything's gone, so it may just be different,
Right.
whole pattern.
Right.
So
You know, that's how we're talking, Bobby. You've missed a little bit of this. We were talking about the potential of having the run, and it is still possible, especially with staggered start times. And we just don't know what it's going to be like in December with the virus.
that's true.
You know, I have heard that there may be a reoccurrence once the kids go back to school, that they're expecting the incidents to go up again. And I don't know what that means or if it will happen for sure. But until we have the vaccine and a way to deal with it, I think we're going to be living just like this, you know, back and forth. So we don't
So
know.
are we deciding whether we're even going to have a brochure, or have we decided we are, or
I
should
have-
we just
Bobby,
concentrate?
I have the budget. We have the budget for it. So we will move forward with the brochure. I don't know exactly what the Port Orchard Independent is going to look like either. You know, right now they're not doing the print copy. And so I'm not sure about the advertising, because the advertising dollars went a lot further in the Port Orchard Independent than they would in the Kitsap Sun.
I don't know if any of you have recently talked to Brenda. I talked to her last week, and
Mhm.
she indicated that they were going to be doing more of a home subscription and not doing any free deliveries in our area, but they were still going to put out the independent. but it
Okay.
would be based on a home subscription, and of course, then the Kitsap Daily News still.
Okay. Good to know. So yes, Bobby, we would do brochure,
Mm-hmm.
and however far our dollars could go with something like the Port Orchard Independent.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the website, Janine will be managing the website.
Right.
So yes, this is going to be a very different looking year. But I think it's also very important that we have something and that it's as cheerful and joyful as possible because people need it.
Amen.
For sure.
Something very uplifting.
So we need a theme, an uplifting theme.
Well, we talked about that, and if you thought of something, one thing we just talked about was a fresh air Christmas. Mannheim Steamroller has an album that's called a Fresh Air Christmas, but it's AIRE, and that refers to heirlooms. But if we just took the E off and we made it a Fresh Air Christmas, that is one something that kind of reflects the times.
Right.
I didn't want to mention COVID, but if you have an idea, please put it on the table because there's nothing set in stone.
Well, I haven't yet, but all night I was thinking about it.
So
It came to my mind. I'm thinking, oh, festival, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Uplifting.
right,
We'll come up with it.
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Something very joyful, yes, uplifting. Yeah, I mean, we're celebrating to the extent that we can.
Right.
And that's why lights will be so important. And one thing I was wondering about and haven't talked to anybody about yet this year, I have in the past, is an actual boat parade. That instead of just having the boats lined up, if there's any possibility at all of having the boats out and where people could see them, movement, and then we would have to think about how people could actually view them.
mm-hmm.
But there's a possibility that we could do something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Even with perhaps cars lined up along bay out each, on the waterfront. If that, again, we could talk with the police, we could talk with different ones to figure out how people could view something on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Because boy, the boats really were amazing last year. We
were.
had so many, and if we could get them out into some sort of a parade of some sort, I think that would be a wonderful attraction. And I can almost picture cars lining up where they are actually parked along the waterfront, all along where they would be able to see the parade or be thinking about other viewpoints, that kind of thing. Depending on if we have a run, depending on quite a few things.
Right.
Is this December 6th? Is that the date for Saturday?
It's December 5.
December 5.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is brandy frozen in stone?
Brandy is frozen in stone with a permanent smile, and you
I'm
look
looking
up
at her
there,
thinking,
you just want
how
to
can she
smile.
look so good? I look so red and blah. She's frozen. Okay, never mind.
Yes. Brandy has her mute on so she can answer phones also.
Oh, I see.
And she does have a photo, yes.
I knew there was a reason. She's just perfect sitting there. Okay.
So Cindy,
Yes.
so are we going to go ahead and plan on our hospitality, places like the Seroptimus, we have hospitality, and then there are other groups, church groups, nights of whatever, and we'll still invite those people for hospitality. And if we know of anyone else that wants to, do they contact you or?
Yes, I think we should plan on it.
Okay.
I think we should.
And just contact you or this Chimes and Lights?
The committee is a good way of doing it during, on our meetings.
Because I
Or
have
contact the city.
New Hope Church expressed interest last year.
Okay.
It was a little too late for them, but they expressed interest. They'd like to do something this year.
Okay, Janine is on here. Janine, New Hope is somebody that might be interested.
Perfect.
Janine actually calls everybody to verify.
Okay.
So if you know of anyone else who might be interested, you're right. There may have been another group that wanted to volunteer too. I can look at my notes.
I had shared with them what we were doing. It was a little too late. I should have shared a little earlier. And they said, yeah, we want to do that next time. So I said, okay.
Sandy, why don't you give Janine, shoot her an email with the contact person there.
Yeah,
and
I
a
will.
phone number.
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing we'll have to be rethinking a bit, even then, is how anything would be served.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know in a lot of like Costco and Trader Joe's, for the time being, they're not allowing any kind of samples or coffee pots or for cross-contamination or anything.
Right.
I don't think that we'll over the whole thing by December. We may be not under such tight restrictions as we are now, but it would surprise me that there would be no restrictions at all.
Yeah.
So ahead of time, we would have to think of
Right.
maybe packaged stuff, that's already pre-packaged, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Or somebody actually pouring the beverages and having them out. I'm not sure what that would look like, but anybody in hospitality will have guidelines.
Right. Guidelines, yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, it's a waiting game on some of this.
Isn't it?
And they can be developed.
Yes, developed as we go.
Right. Yes. That's half of the fun of it, is having the groups there, giving out, especially to the children. I haven't talked to Santa yet. That could look very different. I would not think that children would be in contact with Santa even by December. I really highly doubt that, because the children, just think how many there would be, and they could not be sitting on a lap, but Santa could still be greeting them.
He could still be greeting them, and they could stay face to face in front of him at a distance if necessary.
Right. I
know the kids thoroughly enjoyed getting in Stokes' sleigh last year just to take a picture after they saw Santa. Many families put their kids in the sleigh and took pictures. They loved it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we will talk to Santa. And as far as the sleigh, Sharon, I'm thinking, I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just thinking how contagious this thing is. And if you have kids getting into a sleigh and then getting out and more kids getting in.
Yeah,
we have royalty and a lot of wipes, and they can certainly wipe everything down that's been touched. Every time someone gets in, the royalty's right there wiping it down. So I think it would work. I have to be positive.
Lots of things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will I'll find out about our Santa.
Okay.
And Sharon, can you talk to Stokes about the sleigh again?
He's already indicated to me when I had him at my dinner on the deck that he would haul the sleigh himself down there. And as soon as the event is over, he would haul it home.
Oh, wow.
That was my last word with Larry, and I'll reconfirm with him because he's going to do my dinner on the deck again, and I'll have a private audience with him again.
Okay. Wonderful.
I think we're going to have a dinner on the deck anyway.
How large is your deck, Sharon?
Right.
Yeah. We'll space it out.
6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, a lot of us have been having our own small events and thinking that through. So
yeah,
we'll just keep working on that.
Yeah.
But you know what? December 5th isn't far away. So we'll all be working a little bit quickly on this, and I will have Kathleen contact the choir directors, find out if they would be available to do this and what that's going to look like. Otherwise, maybe we can have recordings of their music if they're going to be singing together. See, they won't even they won't even be in school until September. So we won't know. But I'll have Kathleen just contact the choir directors and see what they think about that.
Well, September is when we should be in phase 4 if all goes according to plan. So I know we're all anxious for this first phase to get through and see where we are.
Mm-hmm. Right. And 3 weeks in between.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and as far as a pet parade, you guys, your thoughts?
You're not taking.
You think a pet parade would work?
It's very popular.
It is popular.
Okay. Let's aim for that as well.
Last year, was that the most that have participated in that? There was a lot of people last year.
It's that way every year.
The pet parade.
Yeah, she had quite a few signups. It was over 50, I thought.
Yeah.
They had a lot more than the year before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought a lot more than the year before.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job.
Yes. So Jordan wasn't able to be here today, but let's count on that. Let's plan for that.
Okay.
And that is something that could be distanced pretty easily too, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll work on the Santa, we'll work on the pet parade, the music, and lots of lights. We don't have anything in the way of rides, and I'm not sure that that's, I think maybe we almost have to wait till 2021 to work on another type of ride.
Yeah.
You mean like the
And you're not taking
hayride, thing? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Right. The Tractor Association won't be available for the hay rides this year. And, you know, when I was thinking golf carts or something, it brings people pretty close together and people would have to wait in lines. That might not be the wisest thing to do this year. But in the future, and I also was wondering in the past about even horse and buggy, something like that. But again, this is probably not the best year for it. And we have so little time.
I know. This is Loretta. I know some people that have 3 different tractors. That would be me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
we'd have to talk Terry into it, but we have a big old case tractor, we have a smaller old case tractor, and we have a newer Kubota tractor. So, well, I mean, we're going to be slower activity-wise as far as the race goes. It's going to be longer duration. We might need someone to, I don't know, we'd have to get someone to drive it that Terry would be okay with driving it. But I just want to throw that out there, that just because the Tractor Association can't be there doesn't mean we can't have a hayride.
okay. Well, Loretta, if we had a spaced out run, we might not want the hayride anyway. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, because it's on the road too. Yeah.
Because we have to coordinate closures and everything. And you know, part of what we ran into last year, I don't know. Someone said Dale is on the line, so Dale may be listening. Is that with our route that we chose to have the tractors go through behind Josephine's and then come around, make a U-turn and come back, there was some congestion and confusion with that. So we would have to look at that. And that route did not have any traffic going in front of the shops, you know, not for very far anyway. So all obstacles to overcome.
Lots of things.
Well, just thought I'd throw it out there that
Yes,
we
it's nice to know
have.
that. I had no idea. So, and if we don't have a run, then I would think it would really be nice to have the tractors. Or if the run is not going to take as much time, doesn't have to have the staggered starts or whatever.
So many question marks.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to throw, Cindy, I'd like to throw this out just as an idea because we're wanting lights and different things.
Yeah.
What if we presented some kind of a lighted bicycle parade and kids bring their bicycles down and they ride down Main Street? You're going to get parents down there. Maybe parents would go in the stores, but it would decorate your bike and let's have a bike parade.
Whoa.
So think on that.
Yes, that's a fun idea. Okay, we'd have to.
We could actually give a prize for the best decorated bike, different things like that. And it might get Fred more involved in his bike store to do something fun.
Yes. Okay, nice idea. Let me put that down. Again, to be worked out with routes and closures and that kind of thing. Very cool. And that would be social distanced.
Yeah,
it would.
It's how we get the bikes in. But anyway, yes, let's throw that around. And I will contact Kathleen so that she can start talking to as many choir directors as we can to find out if they're still on board with some kind of performance, whether it's live or recorded. And we'll work with that. I'll contact the dance studio. Does anyone know how well that went last year?
I don't, because I didn't see it.
I didn't either. I'll have to ask them what they thought.
Okay.
this has been really fun, but I need to leave. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes.
Well, it's good to see you, Miss Bobby.
To see all of you. I'll do better at the next Zoom and get in there a little earlier.
Oh, we're so glad to see you. And thank you so much, Bobby.
And soon my store will be open. I just feel that.
Me too.
So,
Yes.
be safe and thanks for letting me join.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Do I just push leave?
Yeah, you just hit leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
And you'll have my tree soon reserved.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So it does seem like we'll just keep planning as much as we can, but we'll see if we can go ahead and have some elements included that can be altered one way or another, like Santa, whether he's having the kids next to him or spaced from him, whether the kids get in the sleigh or not, or just stand next to it, depending on the restrictions in December.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep planning.
So I have a
yes.
question. For the choirs, are they normally, they just perform down by the tree? Is that what they normally do?
Yes.
For a designated amount of time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, another idea you could do for music, and actually you could have this at more than one space, because a lot of the churches or people that do music now they've figured that out with their small groups. We could have some small stages throughout, and they're singing and doing live Christmas music. So that way, when people are going from place to place, that's another idea for music. If you wanted live music,
Sandy, yeah, we used to do that quite a bit.
Oh, did you?
In the past, I mean, they had bagpipers, but the problem, we have our sound systems and electricity.
Oh, yeah, you have to, they'd have to bring their own sound system, but they'd have to be near electricity for sure.
Right, but
well, if it gets to that and we don't have any music, we may have to go back to kind of that idea. Because
I like that idea.
Yeah, music makes makes it happen in the atmosphere.
Music makes the joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, Mannheim Steamroller has been our favorite Christmas music.
Oh,
for years.
I love that group.
I
Yeah.
know.
My husband loves that group. He wants to go see him sometime.
Yeah. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Well, so yes, and we could too, if we can't have live choirs, be using our sound system to pipe music.
Yeah.
A lot, a lot more. But
Yeah,
I know that we have to be very careful about copyrights. I
Uh-huh.
mean, with our chimes now, we can't even use quite a lot of music because of copyright material. But if choirs already have the rights to use certain things, that helps us out a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And so does, usually if you have a live group, they can do that too. They have each of them have their own license to do
Right.
that.
Well,
if worst comes to worst, because the sound system is down by the tree.
yes.
So where we're at, like even where we were at up for hospitality, you didn't hear that. I just think it'd be neat to have music. I mean, when they go from one spot to the other, was there music by Santa, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, every time they go to a different spot, it'd be great if they could hear some type of music.
Yeah,
I know that, right, the port had music playing.
Yeah, they have the music playing.
That could be heard all down the waterfront.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I know that if Loretta's still on, Jingle Bell Run always had music, and I would imagine that they'll also have music.
Yeah, good.
During the run or around that time.
Yes.
Yes, anywhere we can have music. And I know we've had some small groups in different places as well. There's one near Kitsap Bank that was doing folk type Christmas music for a while. They were beautiful. So yes to lots more music.
Yeah. Well, if we need it, let me know and I'll try to help round some up. So
Loretta, why don't you just start doing that? Why don't you go ahead and start doing some information gathering on music possibilities? Yeah. I think we better plan on a couple of levels. It just wouldn't hurt. And I'll find out if, Janine, are you on?
Yes.
Janine, do we have to, for smaller groups, do we have to have them register or do anything? If they're doing music, what would be the?
For like a business license type or for the event itself?
Just for the event itself, would that just be covered under our umbrella?
Correct.
Okay. And then we just get permission for them to plug in if they needed electricity somewhere? And that would all be under the insurance, the event insurance? How does that work?
I would defer to Brandy on that one. I'm not quite sure, but I believe so.
So if they're an organization, then they need to provide insurance. If they're just individual people, then I would suspect that they're going to have to sign a waiver of the term escapes me, but they're going to have to sign some sort of waiver that says if they get hurt, participate, that they're not going to hold the city liable for any accidents.
Okay.
But it really depends on what they're doing, and if it's not an active type of thing, maybe if they're not running a vehicle, then if they're just standing around and helping, they're considered a volunteer. It just depends on what kind of activity that they're going to be doing, whether we're going to require that waiver or not. I'd have to know exactly what they're doing to determine if they have to sign that waiver or not. If they're going to be handing out, coffee. Again, you got different liabilities and different risks.
Well, we haven't had the choir sign waivers, have we? Had they needed to? How do we
No,
do
but now that I'm thinking about it, they probably should, but signing it. But let me just double check with our insurance to see what their thoughts are, because you're right. I mean, it's a city event, and anybody really trips and falls on the sidewalk, they could say that the city's liable because it's our event. But if what we're trying to hone in is if somebody were to participate in it and say it was the choir piece and they tripped and fell off the bleachers, is that the school district's responsibility? Chances are they're going to list everybody in that lawsuit anyways. They're going to list the school district, they're going to list the city, they're going to list, whoever. Yeah, I think that's just worst case, obviously. Just worst case extreme, but chances are it's probably just going to be covered under ours, and they probably would. And we would just to make sure that type, whatever they're doing, activities included in our application so that they are covered.
Okay, so Janine and Brandy, what we probably should do is have some kind of information coming up on our website about, so we can have groups go to some kind of waiver form or whatever you need to have, so that it can be done ahead of time and efficiently that way. Do you think? Figure out who needs to be involved.
Yeah, I'll look at the language and see. I'm sure there's a defined term of when something triggers that they have to have their own policy or that they are, captured within the city's policy. So I'll look for that language, and I already know that we have a whole harmless agreement already that we can put out there. But now that I'm thinking about it, probably is a little extreme. But I'll look into that and let you guys know next meeting.
Okay.
It's overboard, or yeah, this is what we need to do moving forward. How's that? Let me do a little more research.
That'd be great. I just, I don't want this to be too burdensome. Again, comments were made by Sandy that, small town fun thing. And if it gets too complicated, people won't be able to be as involved.
Absolutely.
But we don't want to be naive in thinking that we shouldn't take care of some business. But if we can do it in a pretty easy way, a hold harmless kind of a form and get that out to the various participants, then I think we'll be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, good. So I think that's pretty much it.
I came up with another idea.
Yes?
In order to work with the businesses downtown,
Yes.
maybe we could work with POBSA to do an elf on a shelf and have families go around looking for the elf on a shelf in their stores. And they have some kind of a little card that they get checked off, and to get them all, you get a prize.
All right. So has POBSA been meeting?
We're going to be meeting in June. I just got an email from Corrine this morning that says they're going to be meeting on the 3rd Thursday in June via Zoom.
Okay. You want to be involved in that.
Yeah.
Great. Sharon, that's a nice idea.
Gets
Very
people
good
going
idea.
in the stores, and it's fun for families and kids to do it because Elf on the Shelf is so popular.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I will talk to them as well, because that seems like a really good joint venture.
Sharon, what'd be real fun? Our principal at EPO did that this year. He would dress up like the elf on the shelf and sit on the sign in the front of the school. The kids were arriving in the morning. He was I would be fun to have real elves on the shelf.
Well,
we get enough costumes.
We've got some elf costumes that Fathoms uses for our Santa breakfast.
Yeah.
So we
Just an idea. I just know the kids were so thrilled. Santa and elf on the shelf. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
That's a very fun idea. Very fun. I love it. So yes, I like the idea of not only the elf on the shelf, but the real deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just fun.
Real elves running around.
Oh, that would be a blast.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, let's keep working on that. That is neat. That was one thing when we did sort of the Victorian Christmas.
Right.
Well, there were carolers, different times, and they were in costume, and that is, anything like that is so cool. Very fun.
Mm-hmm. And that's another idea. I mean, there are people around here that do that I think in our area somewhere. Just carolers. That's fun.
The caroling?
The vintage caroling, the Victorian costumes and the caroling. There's nothing like a good a cappella harmony.
I know. I hear you. And then you don't have to worry about hardly anything.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
if you have any connections, Sandy, if you know of anything, would you let us know or
I'll look
contact?
into it. Yeah, I'll look into that. Mhm.
Okay.
I can't think off the top of my head, but I know people that might know.
Okay, great. Okay, well, this has been very productive, and thank you so much for coming. Is there anything else that you can think of that we should discuss?
No,
Other-
but my mind's moving now to the next meeting, so it's nice that we had a meeting.
Yes. And let's see, we will have it, 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's June 15th.
June 15th, right, that's what you have on the agenda.
Our next meeting, 3:30. We're saying City Hall right now?
Right,
Okay. Otherwise, if there's any restrictions at all, we'll do Zoom again.
okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next month.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.